Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Sarah, content creator, writer, small business owner, what have you. Thank you for spending your time here with me today. I really appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about just like one thing. I'm going to try to stay on track because if you're new here, then you might not know that I ramble and tend to go off on tangents, but I'm going to work hard to stay on track today. So today I wanted to talk about what it's like to be a seller on eBay. And for those of you who don't know, eBay is like the granddaddy of all of these reselling apps and websites that you see now. They are one of the first, and I would say one of the longest lasting companies that still is in the reselling game. So I started, when did I think I started reselling on eBay 2 or 3 months ago. So I haven't been on there very long. I knew about eBay, but was very wrapped up in trying to use reselling apps that had a more social media component to them, like Depop. So Depop and Poshmark, for example, the marketplace is there, so they do have an e-commerce aspect, but they also have a social media aspect where you can like things and comment on things and message between buyers and things like that. So I was trying to get into that, and it turns out it's not really the place where I made a lot of sales. So I started looking for another platform to move to. So I started selling on eBay a couple months ago. At first I only added about 10 items. As a new user, you're limited to about 10. If you want to add more, all you have to do is contact customer service and they will increase your listing capabilities up to 250 items. So you can move from 10 to 250 without any extra fees or costs associated with that. eBay is one of those websites where you're able to list items for free, unlike places like Etsy where there's a 20 cents charge it's either 3 or 4 months, and then the listing will renew either automatically or manually depending on how you set it up. And the renewal of the listing and the additional charge when it comes to having something for sale on Etsy is sort of similar to eBay, only they don't charge you for it. Each listing lasts for 7 days, and at the end of the 7 days your listing either renews automatically or you have to renew it manually, again, depending on how you set it up. And while it is available, you're not able to change certain features on the listing. So, including the option to allow offers, or if you wanted to wait until the listing expires and then change it then before it renews. So you have a couple different options there if you want to get into the nitty-gritty. As far as the biggest things for me were cost. Is this going to be cost effective? It is very cost effective to have a reselling business on eBay. Depending on what items you're selling, like if you're selling a car, for example, or property, that's like a whole different ball of wax. But for me, I sell home goods, movies, clothing. The fees attached to that are extremely small, and some of the lowest I've seen between Depop, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, and even my own website, the fees associated with selling on my own website, it's much, much lower. And there isn't a monthly fee or a weekly fee. There is only the fee of the final value of the item. So that's basically after shipping has been calculated, if there are any extra handling fees or anything like that. And after all of that is calculated, that's when a percentage is taken off, and it's very low, and it's calculated depending on the item's category and that final value. And you know, it is a bit of a kick in the teeth. It's to sell something on Etsy, and then there's a processing fee, there's a transaction fee, there was the fee to list the item in the first place, and the fee increases with the value of the item that you're selling. eBay, so far, I've had one of the best months in sales recently. I think I might have mentioned it in a previous video. October turned out to be my golden month. I made many more sales this time than I did around the same time last year. So thank you all if you're sharing information about the shop. Oh, for those of you who don't know, I am a small business owner. I have a reselling business, an online thrift store where I sell vintage and secondhand goods. So you can check us out at www.heyredshop.com. I have a blog where I go more into detail about the entrepreneurial aspects of being a first-generation business owner and everything that I'm learning so far. I put it all up there. I talk about other small businesses that I admire, product recommendations. It's all up there. So check that out if you guys are interested. I haven't had any problems with eBay. I don't feel like nowadays when it comes to reselling, the platforms that you're on will ask for more information. They want to be able to verify that you are, depending where you are in the world, that you're a citizen there or that you are a legal resident there. And you know, the laws, the tax laws have changed so that they're required to ask for this information. And the only reason why I know about that is because my bookkeeper told me. So I knew why I was being asked to provide more information in order to make sales through these platforms, because they're not my platform. So these companies have to cover their butts and make sure that they're not, you know, conducting business in a way that is technically illegal. So I understand that. But some platforms I'm noticing are asking for really sensitive personal information under the guise of, we have to ask for this information in order for you to be able to continue to conduct business. And that's not quite true. Right now I have about 50 items listed on my eBay shop. I'll insert a little clip so you guys can take a look at how it all looks. It's not as pretty, we'll say, as other reselling websites like Etsy, for example. There are ads, and it's a lot more minimal, I'll say, and informative. There's, like, for example, the text is pretty small, so it can be hard to read if you're looking at it on a website. There's a lot more information there. It has the reputation for being a long-standing company, that it does not take advantage of its resellers, as far as I have been able to tell, that it's very fair, that there's accountability on both sides from buyers and sellers, that is supported by the eBay, basically their infrastructure. That, so far, it's been really working out. The only other thing is, it's like I said, it's not as intuitive, it's not as aesthetically pleasing, but they do cover all of their bases. And one of the biggest differences that I've noticed is that sellers are not held responsible for a company's growth. And this is why I have an issue with Etsy. The fees, the seller fees on this website are some of the lowest that I've found. They're like, okay, so we have to put some ads on the site. Ads will offset some of the costs. And, you know, ads aren't cute. Ads aren't pretty. But they do serve a function on the site, and I do appreciate that. I was like, how can they they only charged me like 40 cents after I made this sale, or $1.20, and that was the only fee that was associated with the sale that I made. How are these so low? And then I started looking through the website, and I'm like, they got ads. It's also really easy to communicate with your buyers through the website or through the app, because they do have the eBay app, which is, it's pretty good. I would say for an e-commerce site that functions with auctions and bidding and offers, you can receive offers from buyers depending on how you have your listing set up, or they could just buy it now. If someone wins a bid, for example, they have a few days before they have to purchase that item. So they may not know that they have won the bid until the listing ends. And that's when whoever has the highest bid gets the item. So they normally have a couple of days. So there are a few more moving pieces to keep track of than on other websites, but it's all in the app. When you go under your My eBay or the selling feature, it shows you right at the top right away. Has someone put out a bid on one of your items? Has someone just purchased it at the buy now price? So it all depends. But overall, it is really easy to use. It was really easy to sign up. The only, time intensive part was when it came to adding items to my storefront. Their process is a lot more detailed than any other websites that I've been on. Like, for example, adding movies, they'll ask for the ISBN number, or they'll ask, who are some of the producers in the movie. Didn't realize that people search for things through those categories, but they do have the option there for you to fill in. You don't have to fill in it all. They do recommend that you fill in enough that make it more likely for people to find your item, which is very helpful, because I don't always know how people are searching for items. So the website generating suggestions automatically when you're adding a listing is really helpful to me. They also have what they call a help center, where there's tons of how-to articles on, how to take better photographs, how to write better descriptions. So there's a lot of resources for sellers and buyers to read up on, to make sure that they're making, well-informed purchases, and that the sellers are making thoughtful choices when it comes to listing items for sale. Oh my gosh. Payouts. Payouts on eBay occur within 2 business days after the item has been received. That could be any day of the week, most days of the week, because, Sunday. But there are some websites where you only get paid once a month, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's hard to keep track of, especially with a system like this where you have people bidding, you have people sending you offers, and you have the option to purchase an item at the price. But being able to see, okay, somebody bought something, I shipped it off, they received it, boom, I get my money. I really like that process. It's especially because I do use the shipping feature, so I do purchase shipping labels through the eBay website. I feel like the prices are like a teeny bit cheaper than if I would have tried to generate it on my own. Being able to see the automatic calculations, okay, after you spent the money on the shipping label, after the fees have been taken out, this is what is yours. That's really helpful, and I'm glad that they process payments so quickly. And another useful feature is they'll show you the payout that is pending, and they'll tell you why it's pending. It's like, okay, the person hasn't received this item yet, or when this person who has won the bid for your item pays, this is how much you'll receive. It helps you keep track of all the little details regarding your sale. And it's something different that I'm seeing, you know, compared to these social media based reselling apps. So the only other issue that I have with eBay, which is, it's really just to my taste. So they're just my opinions. I wouldn't say that they're real issues, but my only other opinion about eBay is the relisting process, which I'm sure there's a way to turn it off, but I haven't figured it out. So each listing expires after about 7 days, a week. So when I have most of my listings set up so that they're automatically relisted, and every time they relist, I get sent an email. And as I told you guys, I have 50 items on the site, and I didn't add them all in the same day. So it's like 5 one day, 7 another day, 10 and 10, and I get all of these emails. And I understand why, and I appreciate the notification, because I have items for sale on Poshmark, on my website, on Facebook Marketplace. Is that all of them? I need to be aware of what everything is doing. Etsy will only send me a notification about a week or so before a listing is going to expire. Sometimes I get the feeling that items that I have renewed are not renewing as long. That maybe I'm being like shorted a month or two. I can't be sure because, like I said, I have all of these different platforms that I work on and I'm rotating, but that may be something for me to look into. I don't know. I may be moving away from Etsy. Some of the platforms that I choose are based on just curiosity. I want to see how well this will work out if we use this platform instead of another one. And like I said, the social media based platforms are fine, but they're not really the places where I'm making a lot of sales. Where I'm making more sales are platforms that are focused more on the selling aspect and buying aspect than the social media aspect. I've been on Poshmark for almost a year and I haven't made any sales. Now, according to Poshmark, I have 435 followers or something. And I was like, let's run these odds. Every time that I share a new listing, I get a lot of likes. And I'm like, that's fine. But I'm also here to make a few sales. And I haven't made any on that site. So Poshmark might be one that I'm moving away from. As a seller on eBay, it's easily integrated. They do ask for a bit more information from you, but you get used to that once you start building up a rhythm, when you start adding listings. And as a buyer, I love eBay. I am a convert now. I don't know what took me so long, especially because I love vintage and secondhand stuff. And here on eBay, a lot of resellers that I have seen on a couple other platforms, their prices are lower on eBay. The fees and costs are just so much lower that you don't have to offset that by raising your prices so that you can at least break even. Yes, I'm in love with eBay now. I think they have such a great system. I like being able to bid on items, being able to send in offers for items, especially if I feel like if it was just like lowered by just like a teensy bit, I would buy it right away. I like having that option. There are a couple of things in my room right now that I bought, but I'm gonna put all of that in a separate video. eBay is the move to make if you are tired of paying all of these fees, all of these hidden fees. Oh my gosh, when I found out that Depop charges an extra fee if you don't use their shipping integrated feature, they charge you an extra fee for not using it. It's a mess. It's a whole mess out here. So if this was helpful to any of you guys, I don't know, give it a video a thumbs up. I think that's the first time I've said that. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. On my way to, what is it, 1,000K? Yes, on our way to 1,000 subscribers so we can get this thing monetized and I can for sure get a better camera, because you guys know I'd be struggling with this camera. Look, you guys, the camera was good when I bought it. I mean, it was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. It was a full kit, you know, and it still works. So until this whole shenanigans gets monetized and I can afford a better camera, I'm kind of stuck with it. And the audio, which I know is not great, but we're doing the best that we can. Thank you all for spending your time with me. Do you guys like my beret? This was I actually have a quick little story that I'll tell you guys about this, because this is amazing. So I told my friend Galitha about my haircut and how I was unhappy with it and all of the shenanigans after the haircut. And she is a health coach, and she recently went on a retreat, and this was actually a part of the centerpieces on the tables. She was like, and there was one for each of them, and she gave it to me when she got back. She knew that I was hiding under hats. And she knows that I have a soft spot for berets, so she gave it to me. It's super cute. Guys, be prepared to see a lot of weird vintage hats. I forget the name, but I'll insert it here. There is a type of Scottish hat. I feel like it's a cultural thing. I'm not entirely sure, but I've found a lot of them on different websites, vintage ones that just come in these amazing colors. I'm into it. So you guys, you know, be prepared for me to just really start digging into my funky hat collection, because I'm not over it. So I hope you guys are, you know, safe and having a lovely day or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time.